Hey everybody. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late here. I'm trying to get this set up. Let's see if I can find myself here. Here we go. Get it to where I can see everything. And let's see, is my volume down? Yep, okay. That way there's no echo. If I'm talking a little soft today and y'all can't hear me, hi Christine, please let me know. I have a little bit of a migraine, so I'm talking a little bit softer so I don't blast my head. But if you can't hear me, let me know and I will most definitely talk a little louder, okay? Hi Marina, hi Christine, hi Dawn. We're going to be doing Sepia today. We did this one on Saturday, so she's a little bit more basic, easier to color. Yes, migraines suck big time, and sadly I have them quite often. So you guys, if you hear me talking quietly, you will totally know that I have one. They are nothing new. I've had them since I was like 15. Hey Jackie, how are you, sweetheart? So I'm going to teach you today. We're going to do the roses definitely in sepia. Her skin is still going to be the same as this little girl. And we're going to do the eye, because I know a lot of people have commented on the eye. So I want to make sure that you guys know how I did that. I know I've gone over it before, but for everybody that's never seen it before or anything like that. Oh, thank you, Paula. Thank you, Marina. I love you guys. So, but for those who've never seen it before, now you'll get to see it again. And there's nothing wrong with repetition, because that's definitely how we learn, is repetition. Let's see. Also, I have an assistant right here. My dog Zoe's a little bit sick, so she is Little Miss Desk Doggy today, because she's only 2.5 pounds, so she's sleeping on my desk. This is another image that you can do in sepia. I showed this one on the other day. We're not going to be doing this one because I really want to show you the roses and stuff too. So I might just do another sepia class where we can just color this one together and have fun with it. So it looks like we have quite a few people here, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and start with, I don't know, what should I start with, guys? Yes, everyone needs a desk doggy, Christine, most definitely, because she's a lot of fun. And she's so tiny, she has a little, I'll post a picture of her later, but she has, it looks like a couch, but it's actually like a little cat bed. And it's just funny because she's too small for the cat bed. She's so tiny. So let's see here. I'll just go ahead and I'll do her skin again, just in case anybody here missed it the other day. And I'm going to go ahead and make her skin a little bit lighter this time instead of going dark. So I'm going to start with, oh, Christine, you don't even know. This girl, she thinks my daughter needs to carry her everywhere. She thinks that, she was being, my daughter, because she's sick, so my daughter has been actually feeding her using a spoon, so she thinks that she needs to be spoon fed. I will post pictures in a little while. It's quite hysterical. I mean, it's sad that she's sick, but it's funny at the same time because my daughter just spoils her to death. So I'm going to start with my E42. Sorry about my ugly band-aid, but I actually ripped my nail down to like here last night. So I'm really sorry about the ugly band-aid. Hopefully you'll forgive me. But I'm just going to start, and I'm going to go in between the flowers and her hair. And I'm not going to go over her hair, but I'm going to go under her hair. And we are going to be able to have a practice of this for anybody that was not able to buy the image. You're going to have a practice image of this part right here. It won't be the whole image. I didn't get permission for that, but you'll at least get the practice part of it for the roses. It's just with her being sick, I haven't really had much time to do anything when my little ones are sick. So let's see, I'm gonna go along her neck, go along her collarbone here. I'm gonna turn that down. Let's see, and then she's gonna have skin through here. And so these images that Mitzi does, they're gorgeous. I love these images. But sometimes it's a little hard to tell what is what. So the little dots like this that are more round and like here and on here, those are supposed to be like dewdrops or water drops. And then the bigger ones that are more like this, or like this one here, or this and that one, those are supposed to be petals. Hi, Helen. How are you, sweetheart? Or I guess Dawn's calling you Nellie, so maybe you go by Nellie. I'm not sure. Yes, I do always color on white cardstock. I'm not one that colors on, I don't do well with, or I shouldn't say I don't do well. I could do craft cardstock. I just don't like the way my markers look on it. So I'm always using the white cardstock. So I'm going to get her ear. I'm going to go close to her face and through there. And I'm going to do around her nose. And she's got those, I don't know, what are those called? Does anybody know what those are called on your face? Nellie, perfect. Thank you, sweetheart. So get around her nose. And I'm going to go up just a tiny bit, but I'm not going to go up all the way with the dark. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Yeah, me too. I like the white cardstock better. My markers just, to me, and it could be different for other people, but me, my personal preference, just like I always say, coloring and the colors you choose and the things, your techniques are total personal preference. So now I'm doing E41, and I'm just going to pull this out a little bit more, because I'm just getting those shadows. And like I said, if you go over anything when you're doing sepia, if you're going to be going over it with a darker marker, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about staying in the lines, because it's all going to look the same anyways by the time you're done. That's the nice thing with sepia, is you don't have to be 100% careful. So I'm going to go around her face and come down a little bit. And everything can be fixed, so I'm not worried about it. And I'm going to do a little bit of her eyelid here. I'll probably make her eyelid a little bit darker here in a little bit. I'm going to go up on her nose just slightly. And now, what I told you I don't normally do, I'm going to do E40. I have images that I can't wait to trace. Oh, Jackie, I can't wait to see those. You got to show me. So E40, like I said, it's more gray. But I'm going to go over her skin and just kind of go into those lighter colors. and then you will see what I'm gonna do. Because it is a little bit more gray, but I at least wanted to show you guys, instead of saying, oh, you know, this is what it does. I want you to see what it does, okay? And then if you see what it does, you can make the decision for yourself, whether you like it or not. I would rather do that. I like people to be able to make up their own minds on what they like and what they don't like. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to fill in the rest of her face here. But you can see it's making it a wee bit darker, but it will dry. It doesn't dry this dark, but it will dry a little bit. And I'm doing my best to stay out of her eye, because her eye is one area that it will not be darker. So we got to stay out of her eye. And I'm just kind of going over everything. Go out from her nose a little bit. So, where'd my sun go? It is so crazy here. One minute it's sunny, and bright and beautiful, and the next minute it's like, I don't know. It's crazy. So let me turn on my lights really fast. There we go. That way I can make sure we can see. Holy Moses. So now I'm going to go back in with my E42. And bring those shadows back out from the flowers, from her ear, because of the flowers, and her face. Go back under here. And then she's going to have a little bit of neck here. We need to have a little bit of shading. Hopefully this big old nasty thumb isn't in y'all's way. Let's see. And I'm just going in the same spots. And I'm doing like tiny, just tiny flicks out from her face. See, sorry, I'm going to turn her upside down just for a second. Hopefully I don't make anybody nauseous with doing that. And then I'm going to use my E41. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. I'm not really blending as much as I'm just pulling stuff out. And I'm just using, again, just the tiny, short little flicks. And I'm going to go under her eye a little bit. That way, when I bring her nose in a little bit. Okay. Because the nose doesn't go completely straight up like a line. You just want kind of a little bit of a shadow to bring that nose out. Okay, so there's a little bit of a lighter face. I tend to like the darker face, and as you do her flowers and stuff, you can always go back in and put more shadows if you want to. It's completely up to you. Thank you, Jackie. Well, Nellie, the only reason I do that is so that I can keep my big fat hands out of your guys' way so you can see. Normally, you can ask the ladies, normally when I color, I color like this, and I color straight up and down so that I can get super thin flicks. So using the side and stuff like that, that's completely just so that you guys can see what I'm doing. You like the lighter one too? Yeah, I like them both. So it really kind of depends on what you want to do and the look that you're going for. What I always say is I like to let my images inspire me as to how I'm going to color them. Because, for instance, I'm not going to color her the same way I'm going to color her. My card is not going to look the same because these are two, hers is going to look more, the card she goes on is going to look more cutesy, as to where the card she goes on is going to look more elegant. So you really got to let your images inspire you. That's why I say, you know, there's always more than one way to color things, and there's never a wrong way to color it. So for her eye, oh, I put my C away. Here we go. So for her eye, I'm going to use B05, B02, B00, and C1. Oh, no, Nellie, you don't have to try that. It's just so I can keep these big clob hoppers out of your way. Because I got like these short, I don't know, I call them sausages, you know, like the dog treats. Because I have very short, chubby fingers. So, okay, so her eye, I'm going to go right at the top with the B05. And the way that, let me see, I need to move in a little bit, it looks like. Hang on. Let me adjust this. There we go. So the way that Mitzi draws these is she does put the little white dots for the reflection in these. So I do try to stay away from those if I can't remember where to put them. So then I'm going to use my B02. And I'm just going to bring that B05 down just slightly. And then I'm going to use my B00. And that's going to go all the way along the bottom. And I'm going to pull that 5 and that 2 down. So you can already hopefully see that it is, you know, it's darker at the top than it's darker at the bottom. And then you need C1. I mean, you can go darker if you want to. But first, I usually use C1. And I go from corner to corner. But I do it at an angle so that you can get the shadow. And I go right over everything. But you can get that shadow of the eyelid to make it look more real, to give it that depth, as if it's, you know, that the eyelid is actually standing out away from the eye itself. And then if you're satisfied with that, for Mitzi's, I normally use my 05 jelly roll. And you can use any white gel pen. It doesn't have to be a jelly roll. And I just like dot it in there. So I'm going to admit something. I'm going to confess something to you guys. I messed up on her lips. I did not like, I thought I was going to do like a pop of color with her eye and then do a pop of color with her lips. But then I ended up not liking it, like, at all. So, underneath of there is R32. And then I covered it up with E44. So, that was a mess up. Just so you know. But for her lips, to make them look more like she's got lipstick on. Hi, Susan. So her lips, I'm going to go ahead and do an E43. And I'm just going around where there'd be a little bit of shadow. And you can go darker. You don't have to use the same colors I do. You can go darker. And then I'm going to put a little bit on her eye around the top for like a little bit of a shadow. And then I'll go in with my 42. And see, it looks more like her skin. So if you don't want it to be that light, and like I've told you guys before, even though, hi Terry. Oh, Terry. So you guys know the joke that I put up about being in the hospital? I got that from her. I loved it. I laughed so hard. At first I was worried about you, Terry. And then, yeah, I had to post that. Sorry. So, but like I tell you guys, if you don't like something and you just want to do it over, don't do it over. You can go over the top with a different color, or like there's been so many times where, let's see, I've colored Marcy and her skin is okay, but I don't like her outfit, so I've cut her head off and put it on another one. So don't start over. Keep going. So I'm just going to put some E43 here on her lips. Make it look like she's got like a deep dark color on her lips. And we're good. At least you were worried about me first and then class, Jackie. That was so funny. I read that and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm giving too many heart attacks to these ladies. I got to take it down. So I actually ended up deleting it because I was like, oh, I don't want to worry anybody else. So let's see, now the roses. So we got her skin done, and you can tell she's got a little bit of little strands of hair in here. Okay, and you've got some leaves, you've got a rose, and I have no idea. I don't know. Does anybody know what kind of flower that would be? Is it a dahlia or something? I have no idea what that would be. You're fine, Jackie. Seriously, you're so fine. I know you were worried about me first. Let's see. So we are going to start with E47. And we're just going to go through and we're going to do all the darkest parts of the flowers. Okay? When I have an image from Mitzi, they're usually just got tons of flowers. And so I like to go in, because they're all kind of smushed together, I like to go in and just figure out what I'm doing first and where the shadows would be. So I'm going to start with this rose here. And we're just going to go ahead and pull that out. I don't know if we'll get to all the flowers today, but I'm going to try. I'm definitely going to try. And you just go in where all the darkness would be. Now, if you're doing an image and you don't have me around and we're not doing it together, you can, like I tell you guys all the time, you can always go to Google and look at the images. Try to find a flower or whatever you're looking for that is in the same position, and look at how the photographer, go to the, like, don't go to drawn images, go to like photography images to see how the sun is hitting that flower. So let's see. And we're just going to go along the edges. Where I put the shading is down deep where the petal starts to come up, and then where it reaches the top is where it's going to be at its lightest. And then very, like this one here, I don't know if you can see this, but this is the body of the petal going down, and then this is the top of the petal, how they just kind of bloom out. So we don't have any light there, but we have light down in between. So that's what I'm working on right now, is that part right there. And I'm trying to be ever so careful with thin, tiny little flicks so that I can make sure that I don't just, you know, wipe over the whole thing. So these little flowers, sorry, I saw something up here. I'm a little OCD. So these little tiny flowers, there's like little lines, and you can just go at the lines, and then there's going to be a shadow right there from this one. And you can always go back in, because we're going to go back in with the E47. Hi, Gail. But we can always go back in with the E49, not 47, because that's what I'm using right now. But you can always go back in with the E49 and get more of a shadow than that. So I usually do the absolute darkest color later. That way you can, because you don't need much of it. You just need a tiny bit. But that way you can really get in there with those shadows where they go. But I like starting out with the darkest first, even on my flowers, because then I feel like I can really control what I want light and what I want dark without my dark just kind of bleeding out into the light colors if my paper's too wet. So now did anybody know what this flower was? Anybody? Hey Mary, how are you doing, sweetheart? So I'm just gonna pull all these lines, basically almost all these lines out that Mitzi has put into this. Just go ahead and pull those colors out, or pull the lines out a little bit more. Can you guys tell how it keeps getting like super ultra dark and then really light? You would think the hurricane was still here. Thank goodness that's passed. That came through here, that hurricane came through here about 11:30 last night. So I think I'm just going to leave this flower pretty much where it's at so that I don't take up all of our time just doing this dark stuff. I'll do a little bit of this one. And I will make sure to put this up for all of you guys to see for reference too. That way you guys can come back and look at it if you want to. So we're gonna do, see, this is one of those ones where I said, see how it kind of curls up right here? So we'll have shadow here, but it's curling up instead of curling down. So we'll also have shadow below it. There we go. But this is kind of like mapping it out a little bit, so that way I know where all the petals are. And I can kind of figure out, okay, what's a petal, what's a leaf, what am I doing? And I will let you know with Mitzi's art, there's no right or wrong whether something is a petal or something is a leaf. Because believe me, I've been on Mitzi's design team for, oh gosh, hi Jackie, going on 7 years now. And anytime I ask her, hey, what is this supposed to be? She's like, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm just leaving it up for interpretation. I'm like, okay. So don't worry if you think that, oh, I colored a petal like a leaf. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Because it's up to your interpretation what you want that to be. It's not a big deal. Let's see. Get around here. But I love, one thing I love about this image, especially with the sepia, is that it just, these flowers just hide around her face, and you can get some shading and stuff with her face. So I'm going to go in now and try and do this a little bit lighter. I'm going to go in with my 47 so that you guys can see how that all blends out. See, I'm going to put that over there so I don't have a shadow. And I'm just going to pull it out ever so slightly. And I'm going to kind of fill in the light parts where I didn't put the E47 at. But I'm just very small, thin lines. That way we can be sure to leave enough contrast where it is actually the lightest on the petals. There we go. So now you can see that it's starting to come out, and even with the E44, this is starting to come to life a little bit. Doing images like this is really, it's a little time consuming, especially if you're doing them small like this. I do have bigger ones that I've done that have taken me a month or so to finish. Now, granted, that's taking care of my family and everything like that in between. So it's not 3 months of, you know, full getting to color every single day kind of a thing. But these images, like the one that took me a month to do, I'll snap a photo of it later after we're done here, and I'll post it for you guys. Which there's actually a funny story about that one too. But that one, these ones I love because these ones you can actually frame. And even my mother-in-law has one that she has framed and just hung up, because they're so pretty once they're finished and once they're colored. This flower is just, I wish I knew. I'm going to have to look up what kind of flower this is later, because I think it looks really neat, but I can't figure out what it is. Is anybody else like that, where you're coloring something like a flower and you just don't know what it is, so you look it up later just so that you know? Let's see. I'm trying to get in now. I'm trying to get in with the E44 where I didn't get in with the 47 on those little smaller inner petals, because they're going to be just slightly lighter because they're more towards the top, the front of the flower where the sun's going to hit. So I didn't do those quite as dark as the petals that are behind. But this is definitely going to give you that practice on the small, tiny, little thin flicks for this one. Hi, Carrie. How are you? So that was E44. Now we're going to go in with the E43. We'll actually, this I will take out all the way to like the E42. So now I don't have to be quite as small, quite as gentle, because I'm going to pull out the E44 with the E43 and just leave enough room at the tips for the E41 or the E42, sorry. This E 40 40 40 is like really, it's like, which number was I on again? So we're just going to pull it out, and we're just going to keep doing the same thing now that we know where our petals are, what we want to do. The ones that lip up, like here and right here, I usually just do those with a small amount of E43 at the bottom, and then I'll do the E42 on the top. I might put in a little bit of shadow later if I want to. But now you can really start to see where everything is at. And I'm just kind of, some places, like when it's real small like this rose, I'm like just dotting it to fill in that color. And then I forgot about these guys, but they're so tiny you can just go with E43 right over that 47 and you have more than enough color. So I'm going to do a little bit color in there, finish coloring that in, that body of that rose that I was talking about where the lip goes over, and I put a little bit of E43 on the lip as well. But we want to try and leave enough room to have a bit of contrast in here. So everything's just kind of, I'm not even really flicking, it's just dotting. It's the bigger petals where I might flick a little bit more. Okay. Could you turn to the side for a minute so I can see how you're pulling your color? When I pull my color, oh, I know, I'm so sorry, Susan. Stupid Band-Aid. It's not a very good Band-Aid. So when I pull my color, here's E44. Okay, I'll just put a little bit on there. And then when I go to 43, I just go at the very edges and pull it out. I'm not really blending, and I don't go all the way back. I just pull it out. Okay? Is that what you meant, Nellie? Let me know. See now, so 42, I'll be going like this. Just part way back and pulling it out. Okay? So when you blend, you don't go all the way back, because that's how you get it, how you mush your colors and make them yucky. And that's when you get the over blended kind of look. So now for the 42. Oops, this is bouncing around. I'm just going to pull it out, and I'm not being real careful at all because I know that all of this is going to be 42 now, so I'm not being completely careful. And I'm not going all the way back. Like I said, I'm just pulling it out. I'm not even really blending it because I want some of those lines. Not all of them, but I want some of them. Let me know if that flap gets, see it's starting to go back out again. Maybe I should hold it down with some tape. I'm not quite sure how to get that darn thing to stay down. It's probably because it's a cloth band, ouch. It's a cloth Band-Aid because I'm allergic to latex. So the Band-Aids that I have to use aren't super fantabulous at all. Not at all. So just pull the rest of this out. So there is the 43, the 42 pulling out the 43. Now, like I said, if you wanted to get back in there with some darker shadows in the flowers, you can go with E49. I'll show you on this one. Hopefully this will stay. But I just really easily, like really thin, like the thinnest you can do, just go in along the edges of each of the petals. And in those shadowed areas, you can really just pull all that out, or not pull it out, but make it stand out. That's what I should say. Make it stand out. And I just, like I said, I do it right where the petal is going to hit the other one for like a cast shadow. And then she would have a cast shadow here. So that's how you could make like oh, thank you, Jackie. I've been coloring longer than 7 years. I've just been on her team for 7 years, which it seems like yesterday. It does not seem like 7 years at all. So do a little bit of more shadowing work in this flower. See, these are getting a little bit darker because I'm not going straight up and down like I normally do, but I know that you guys get the idea of what to do. So even this one, like it's going down on the other flower, you can still put that shading there to make it stand out more. So I really enjoy putting like the darker shadows in there like this, especially after. But you can see it doesn't take a whole lot to get the result that you want. Now, if you want to do the same thing for her face, because we did 42, 41, and 40 for her face, but say you want like a darker shadow for her face to make it stand out from the flowers, this is E43, and I'm just bringing that out a little bit where the flowers are at and like in her ear, because we know we don't see that part of the ear. It's usually back in further a little bit more. And you can just bring that out just slightly. And then for her eye, and just pull that out. And you can put a little bit right here too if you want like a more of a shadow for her face. And then I would just pull that out. Let me see. Yeah, with the E41, just pull that out, because then it just kind of blends it out a little bit. Keeps that cast shadow color, but also blends it out a little bit to where it doesn't look completely harsh. And you can just blend it out a little bit further if you want to until it blends where you had it before. Wow, there's a lot of people in here today, you guys. So does anybody have any questions on this so far? Let me see. Looks like I answered Nellie's question. Got my Band-Aid out of the way for Susan. I'm so sorry. Hopefully that'll be healed by Saturday. So here's like, again, here's a darker version. Here's a lighter version. It just depends on which way you want to go, how dark you start out, and which colors you use. If you want her to be really light, you can see the E40. Hopefully I'm in the frame. Yeah, I am. Okay, but the E40 did dry out. It's not quite as dark as it was when we were laying it down. So when you're using the E40, thank you, Jackie. When you're using the E40, make sure you let it dry a little bit before you are like, ooh, this is gross, it's so dark. So just make sure you let it dry out a little bit. And when you do the nose, make sure you don't leave that big dark line right there. Because I mean, look at pictures of people. We don't have big, huge, dark lines showing our nose. We have a shadow that comes out over our face that makes the nose look as if it's lifted out away from our face. Okay? Yes, I will. For those who came in a little bit later, I will have a practice sheet. It's only going to be like the top of this rose and come around to her face. That's what I've been told I'm allowed to do. So, I will have that. I just didn't have a chance to do it with my dog being sick. She's kind of been taking up a lot of time. So I will get that done right after I'm done here with the video. Okay? And if you guys have any questions while you're doing the practice sheets or anything like that, just let me know. I'm more than happy to help you. Okay? Anytime. That's mostly why I friend you guys, so that you can just, you know, one-off message me if you want to, because honestly, that's the fastest way to get a hold of me. Okay? I will, let's see. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know. I'm lady of upper age group that has lots of cast shadow lines. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with cast shadows. People color differently. They want more realistic looks. They want, you know, more of the crafting cartoony, whatever you would like, okay? cast shadows, if that's what you are going for, then that's what you can have. And that's why I kind of show it both ways. You're welcome, Christine. You're very welcome. So I will get these done. I will get the practice sheet done for you, and it'll probably give me about a half an hour because I have to get my computer out from underneath my dog. She's sleeping on it. So I will talk to you guys later. Let me know if you need any help, seriously. And even if it's an image we haven't gone over, ask me, you know, say, hey, do you have this image? Can you please show me how you would color it? And I will do it. Okay? I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you for coming.